Wednesday, April 2nd, we had our April all-church training. As a church, we covered a lot of ground, from planning center to new visitor cards to a few updated usher duties, and the excitement we all share at seeing what God will do through 2 Sunday morning services. Afterwards, everyone enjoyed cookies and chocolate milk in the lower sanctuary and had a great time of fellowship. All right. Well, I'm up here tonight to talk to you about foyer ministry, and I can say that we had an awesome first week with 2 services, and things went really, really well. How many think that? I thought it went awesome. Daniel claimed it was awesome. More to come. And guys, we are, I know that Daniel was a special guest speaker in the house, but we are expecting and believing God to bring in crowds that full in the coming weeks. We've got a couple special things coming up, but even on the off weeks, we think that the Lord is bringing in people that is said to cast the nets, and that we're going to be welcoming into our midst hundreds of people, hopefully hundreds of new people over the course of the next couple months. And so basically, I want to just kind of remind everybody about a few things about usher ministry, and then talk about where we're going to go, not just usher ministry, foyer ministry. So this includes the greeters, this includes the cafe, this includes the info desk, and it also includes the ushers as well. So number one, I want to draw everyone's attention to the card that we were talking about. This is our welcome card, and I'll show it to the video. We're filming a little video here for the first time tonight. This card, we've actually been thinking about and praying about it for weeks leading up to our 2-service launch, and it's really important to us. So we put it up on the screen last time. I hope you saw maybe a couple passing by, some visitors this weekend. But I just want everybody to see this and know that this really is the focal point of how we, after we're done welcoming people into our midst, if they're new, this is the point that we actually take them from being new and get some information about them so that we can help them connect with our community in a deeper way. This card right here, I mean, it's simple, but I think it's beautiful. I think the guys did a nice job with it. On the back, it's very simple. It's just a couple information fields, okay? Just name, address, city, email, phone. If somebody wants to fill out the whole thing, that's awesome. We're looking for as much as they will give us, so that, you know, when we don't see them, or we see them for a couple weeks and then all of a sudden we don't see them, we can reach out to them and say, how are you doing? What can we do for you? We can follow up with somebody we met just in a conversation by going back through, the visitor cards that were collected that week, all those kinds of things. If these are not filled out, if people come through our doors, even a couple weeks in a row, and leave without giving us information, then they're just, kind of gone. And a lot of times that's very, very difficult to find somebody after that. So we want to make this the focal point. So the ushers will be continue to pass these out with the current literature we have. Right now we've got a trifold brochure that has some vision and values stuff on it. We're in the process of making a change with that, but as long as we've still got copies of it, we're going to continue to hand them out. But I want you guys to see this. This is what we want to help people with. So even if you're not an usher, even if you're not the one handing this out, we would like everybody to kind of think missionally about these cards and say, okay, when the ushers are coming out, that's not the point in the service to tune out and check my phone, or just kind of think about something else. This is the point where we as a family, we want to look around and say, boy, is there somebody new here that's raising their hand that may put their hand back down? Is there somebody that, sitting beside me I didn't know was new, they got a card that maybe I could help them fill it out? Just with a friendly smile, hello, reminder, hey, don't forget to turn that in at the info desk on your way out. Just watch for these cards and just be mindful of it. We don't have to be maniacs about it when people come through, but we can be friendly and helpful and all sort of be in the effort of making sure that these cards get filled out and then returned to the info desk. So that's what those are. We're excited to have these, and that's that. Now the future of the welcome packets is such that if you read the back of this card, it says, we at Life Church are honored to have you as our guest. True. We have prepared a special gift for you. False. We want to prepare a special gift. We are in the process of preparing some things. Right now, what we're going to do, just so everybody knows, is we are handing out some sermons and some teachings. So if somebody returns this to the info desk, we want there to be an incentive for them to actually say, okay, I'm going to fill out my email or whatever and go to the info desk and turn it in and receive a special gift. We want them to feel welcomed in that way. As it stands now, we're going to actually give them some sermons. That'll be our stand-in gift. But we were in the process of developing an entire info packet. We've got these little, they call them pillow boxes. They look like little plastic pillows. Does anybody know what I'm talking about? Okay, we've got a few, nobody, but that's it. You'll see them in a couple weeks. Basically, it'll be a little box with some sermons, some teachings, some information, stuff that people will find valuable, that they'll really enjoy, that they'll really hopefully connect them to our community. And so that is coming. So if somebody asks, what's my special gift? You're in the know. You know, for the next couple of weeks, it'll be some sermons, but in not too much longer, it'll be an entire packet that includes sermons and a lot more. Okay? Sweet, I like that. Who said that? Was that Mike? Yeah, sweet, it is. Okay, now one thing we had happen this week, this is really interesting, and I expect more of this, is we really didn't know what to expect with a guest speaker and 2 services and the whole thing, and we had a lot of people stay through 2 services. How many people stayed through both services that were here? Okay, a couple of you. How many people came to the second service and kind of noticed that, hey, there's a lot of people here that may have stayed over? Okay, so you guys saw it too. I mean, it was sort of like a conference feel where people, after the first service, they were saving their seats with like jackets and Bibles and stuff, and you know, that never works, so I was like, good luck, right? But they were doing it. It was really exciting. And what it created, guys, was a bunch of different dynamics that we just are never going to be able to plan for. And I just fully expect, with God bringing in more people, moving powerfully in His Spirit from the first service and the second service, and people coming and going, there are going to be lots of different dimensions to what we do that we're just not going to be able to plan for. So right now, the basic plan is, just to remind, I'm going to speak to the ushers and those that kind of are involved in that, is we keep the doors open until the morning announcements, until the weekly announcements, until the video goes on. Then we close them so people can hear the video announcements. And then the ushers come forward by the end of video announcements with the welcome packets, so that by the time that video is done, the doors have been closed and the ushers are in place in various parts of the sanctuary. And then when Pastor John or whoever says, if you're a visitor, raise your hand. Now the ushers are already here looking back on the congregation, and they can see everybody that are new with their hands, and you can see everybody because you're looking for people with hands and helping them. So that's the plan, very simple play. But in the event, like actually happened in the second service, where the video malfunctions, or where things, we actually had a video announcements malfunctioned a little bit, and then we had a video we were going to play but didn't. In those circumstances, we would like you guys just to be tuned in to this very, key dynamic, that the video announcements are going right into visitor welcome. And again, this is like a really important thing. This is kind of the focal point of the first half of the service. Yes, we want to encounter God in worship. We want to give our tithes and offering. But when it comes to new visitors and welcoming those that are in the nets that we're bringing in, this is really important. So when we see those video announcements, we should all be thinking, okay, I want to check in what's going on with one eye, but I know that the ushers are coming, that new visitors are going to be welcomed. And if that video goes on the fritz or something, we would like the ushers to just to respond and quickly come to the front and be ready for the new visitor announcement, raise your hand thing. Does that make sense? So now that's one example of something that happened. Neither I or you can predict all the kinds of things that can happen, but if we have this value that we want to have every new visitor that's welcomed in, get a card, and then have a friendly face and be able to get it to the back. All of us, whether we're serving the usher capacity or whether we're in the midst of the congregation that morning, we can kind of be mindful of that and help that process. So just to double back on this, so if the ushers, let's just say the ushers for some reason don't come quickly enough, and there's a little bit of a misstep, and somebody besides you raise their hand and puts it back down, because everybody knows an arm can only be raised for about 3.5 seconds before that muscle just gives out. You've done it, I've done it, and then that's it. If you're any visitor, you're just paralyzed, right? You can't move it. Well, if you see that happen and you see, the video malfunction, the ushers, and whatever, you can help by maybe raise your hand for 3.5 seconds, and give them a nudge and say, hey, I'll get one for you, or something like that. Just be helpful and mindful that as, the play is not always going to work, and that's just part of life ministry. Okay, another thing for the ushers, just be mindful. As we get more and more people, we are going to have to move into a phase where we're actually helping people find seats. So I'd like the ushers in that ministry to think about that. We've been pretty full up until this point, but now we're really, getting maxed. And so ushers, in a way that you probably haven't before this point, you're really going to have to help people find seats. To everybody else, I would ask us to do this thing where we do the accordion. So if you're the first person in a row, don't sit on an end. Go ahead and move to the middle, so that we can free up outside seats for visitors coming in or for the whosoever. And if you have a couple seats, by you, just think about the spatial dynamics, that we're really getting to a point where we're going to need every available seat in the weeks coming up. So that's it. Okay, now the last thing is I would like our foyer ministry, whether you're a greeter or you're somebody at the cafe or the info desk or even the ushers, there's a piece of information that's absolutely critical as we're moving into 2 services, and this is it. We've got from 10:30 to 11 o'clock, we've got this dual traffic. We've got people leaving the first service or possibly getting ministry, and we've got people coming in early for the second service, 10:30 a.m. to 11. In that time, with our children's ministry, it is very important that people that are interested in checking their children in for the second service, they actually will be unable to check in before 10 to 11. There's about a 20-minute window there where what's happening downstairs is children's ministry is still going. And if you're familiar with the layout downstairs, think about it when you walk down. You see where the band is. They do ministry from the very front of the room. As soon as you turn that corner and walk in, that's where they do the ministry, and the children are there. And so for somebody to just kind of walk in with their kid, it just doesn't work. We can't have people bringing people in halfway through, like when the service is just finishing up. So what we're asking, and what we're going to ask everybody that attends Life Church, is to check in your kids for the second service no earlier than 10:50, 10 to 11. What that means for our foyer ministry is we just want to be mindful and friendly about this dynamic. We don't want to outright rebuke people, right? That's not the issue. You can't take your kids. Just remind people about this, not even the dynamic, but this policy, I guess you could call it, but this thing where we are allowed to check in their children from 10 till on. So you might say to somebody, "Hi, I see you're here early for second service. Great, you're here. Just so you know, you'll be able to check your child in at 10 to 11. And if that turns into a conversation about, well, I'm here at quarter till, why can't I just go down now? Then you can engage them about, well, you know, it's still happening. We got people leaving. The services to check your child in for second service will be available at 10 to 11. See, I used a positive phrase. Go ahead and use a positive phrase with them, and that's just how it's going to have to be. And if somebody really has a problem, go ahead and direct them to myself.